ride mechanic Joel Van Alstine atop the PNE roller coaster in Vancouver. Arlen Redekop, PNG Jim Winslett likes roller coasters a lot. I have been on 887 different coasters in 13 countries, says the 52-year-old retired UPS driver. Winslett is such a roller coaster fan that he's the editor of Ellocoaster, an online magazine for coaster addicts, and a reader poll in Ellocoaster just named the PNE's Playland coaster the 12th best wooden roller coaster in the world. It is unlike anything else running today, said Winslett, a Texan who now lives in Calgary. Modern coasters tend to restrain the riders extensively, there's not much room to move around, you're very tight in the car. That can lead to some discomfort, especially if the ride is rough, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. The Playland coaster gives you some space. It's comfortable, and the trains are fantastic. There are no seatbelts, and the lap bar sits well above your lap, so you've got some room to move around in the car. That tends to accentuate everything that the coaster does. If the coaster hits a turn, for example, you're going to slide left or right in your seat a little bit, and that's just not something engineers are doing with their rides anymore. That kind of coaster experience is almost extinct. Those words would please to Carl Farrand Walker Leroy, who designed and built the coaster out of select Douglas fir in 1958. The cost was $200,000. The genius of Farr's design was that after the coaster, cars are pulled by a chain up to the top of the first hill. It runs completely by gravity. It isn't all that big, 23 meters tall, with a 856-meter track, and has a top speed is about of only 70 kilometers an hour. But what it lacks in sheer speed, it makes up in thrills. The Douglas fir is all give and feel, which makes the ride seem a bit wonky, like something's going to snap and you're going to be hurtled into Kingdom Come. Which makes it all the more frightening, and all the more fun. The PNE's Laura Ballant says the coaster has just gone through a 5-year refurbishment that makes it as good as new. There is no expiry date on this ride because of how it's maintained, and how it was built, said Ballant. We replace the wood that needs to be replaced, and the ride lives on. Optional trim for print. The current coaster is the third on the PNE grounds, prefaced by the Giant Dipper, 1925-57, and the Little Dipper, 1928-44. The rail cars for the Giant Dipper are still in use on the roller coaster at the Washington State Fairgrounds in Puyallup, 50 kilometers south of Seattle. The Ellocoaster was built in 1935. J. Mackey at postmedia.com. The late Walker Leroy Wright and his wife Allegra came to Vancouver in 1998 to mark the 40th anniversary of the PNE's roller coaster, which he built in 1958. He was 82 at the time, she was 78. Leroy sat on the outside because that's where most of the movement occurs when you're riding it. It was designed for women to be on the inside. Mark Van Manen, Vancouver Sun. A postcard of the Giant Dipper roller coaster at Hastings Park in Vancouver in the 1940s. Vancouver Sun.